Call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Public forum for this evening? Yeah. No, let me go back. Motion to accept the minutes of the April 8th, 2025 meeting.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one? Motion carries. Public forum for this evening? No one. We'll move on to discussion item that was put on at the request of one of our members, talk about the school calendar. Questions from the board members on the school calendar?
Thank you, Mr. President. Madam Superintendent, is there any way to, based on the approved calendar for 2025-2026, is there any way to close the district on December 22nd and 23rd?
If you want to close the district on Is that better? Okay. We'd have to take the 2 days from another holiday. So you could, or you could decrease the number of snow days, which I would highly not recommend. We only have 6, and you'd be only having 4 snow days. So you could look at the calendar and make recommendations on finding 2 days that we have off and going to school those days. I'd also recommend that you look at the BOCES calendar. I think on the BOCES calendar, I did ask BOCES for the, in your packet you got the 24-25 Ulster County school holiday closing information. The 25-26 school holiday closing is not done yet, so I don't know which schools have classes on that Monday and Tuesday of winter break. So if class is open and we close, I'm not sure. I think most districts, but I'd have to confirm that for the next meeting, are in session that Monday and Tuesday. So BOCES would be open. If we close, our kids wouldn't go those 2 days. Unless, we try to follow the Ulster County BOCES calendar the best we can so that our students do attend. There are days that doesn't work out, like snow days and superintendent conference days. For the most part, like on spring break, we try to follow the same holidays and such. So to answer your question, you could close that Monday and Tuesday, but you'll have to find 2 other days off the calendar not to, to be in session.
And so we are obviously closed on the dates mandated by the state and federal governments. Are there any days that were closed that are not mandated by either the state or federal government?
The Wednesday before Thanksgiving. There are 2 days for the Jewish holidays that are not mandated yet, but it's been a historical practice that we've been closed, and all of Ulster County is closed those days. There'll be no BOCES programs for those days. I think spring break. I don't think you have to be closed for spring break or winter break. I think I shared with everybody the list of the holidays that you have to be, so the days that you have to be closed for: Martin Luther King Day, Memorial Day, Juneteenth, Labor Day, Columbus Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving Day, Christmas Day, and Lunar New Year. So other than those days, you can pick and choose which days you'd like not to be in session.
And I'm not sure if you can answer this, and I'm not even sure if I'm going to be asking it the right way, but how productive are the 22nd and 23rd of December?
I don't know, but I will tell you the day before break, whenever that is usually a a light day. There are celebrations in the building, so if you did close Monday and Tuesday, I suspect that Thursday and Friday would be lighter days. The Monday and Tuesday before Thanksgiving, definitely the Tuesday are lighter days with classrooms celebrating and having other activities. So I can't tell you from classroom to classroom, but I think anything leading up to a holiday, there's a lighter day before.
I'd be curious to know what the call-outs for those particular days are. And I know you don't have that information at your fingertips, but I'd like to know that. I'd also like to know what the call-outs surrounding the 2 days before the Thanksgiving break are, as well as the dates surrounding, for this year, it would be September 23rd and October 2nd, please.
And that's for 24, 25?
Yes. Historically.
Mm-hmm. And then I can also do for 24, the winter break this year was a full week and then 3 days. So the 2nd and the 3rd, we were in session, the Thursday and the Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll look at that also. And you're looking for student attendance?
I'm looking for student, staff, and faculty.
Okay. So just to, you want the student, staff, and faculty attendance 2 days before the Thanksgiving break, the days surrounding September 23rd and October 2nd of 24, and the winter break for that Thursday and Friday.
Correct.
We can bring this back. We can bring this back for further discussion once she has that information.
Well, I'll include it in the next packet.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
It's not a item to table. It's just the information will be brought back. We'll discuss it again. We'll move on to reports for information and correspondence. John, where are we with Hall of Fame? We're good. Thank you. Thank you for that in-depth review. I really appreciate all that conversation. I didn't hear a miracle, though. Is that a miracle? No. Anybody else? Board membership? If not, we'll move on to Jack Henry.
Good evening. So for happenings and events, the NISBA Solo Festival is taking place on Friday at Kingston High School. Good luck to all students that are participating. The fourth marking period has begun today, and the junior-senior high school state test for ELA will be taking place next week. For athletics, the varsity softball team had a home game today against Rondout. The varsity track and field team has a home meet tomorrow against Onteora, as well as the Kingston Relay at Dietz Stadium on Saturday. Finally, for fundraising, now that it's time for springtime, there's plenty of Blue Devils merchandise available for the season. The link is tinyurl.com/ECSD merch, or you can use the QR code.
Thank you, Jack.
Mr. President?
Yes.
I would like to, first of all, thank you, Jack, for the service that you provide representing your fellow students and keeping the Board of Education informed. I wonder if it'd be possible to make Jack's report a matter of record. And the reason for that is I often am looking for the website that Jack mentions at the end of his report. And
You can just go on krispykremes.com.
No, not that one.
Oh, okay.
I know that one.
I thought you-
I know that one. Yeah, and my penmanship, Jack, isn't as fast as you are oratorically gifted. So if we could make
We will.
his report part of the record.
Done.
Thank you.
Jack, you're going to be famous. All right, we'll move on to Superintendent Lisa Wiles.
Okay, so yesterday the petitions for the school board election were submitted by 5 o'clock. We have 4 candidates, 3 incumbents, Reverend Julius Collins, Jody Little, Dan McQuillan, and Mr. Gerge. So those will be the applicants, the candidates on the vote, along with the budget, which we'll adopt tonight. That vote is going to be on May 20th, and it'll be from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. in our library here. And I also want to just let you know that we're moving to an what the county and the towns use as far as electronic sign-ins as opposed to those big books. So we've done a full conversion. The libraries vote will be using that. Most districts have moved to it. So the vote is here, May 20th. We'll keep announcing that at the board meetings. And you can contact the district clerk, Marisol Hempt, for any early mail ballots or any absentee ballots. 845-647-0100. I also want to announce that one of our students at the, direction and collaboration of Mr. L. in our studio program has won a photo contest that was sponsored by the Rural Schools Association. The topic was teen awareness. It was a photo contest, and Ava Orfanos was the first prize winner, and she'll get a $250 gift certificate from RSA, and I'm sure they are a representative. Mr. Burns actually sits on the governing board of RSA, so there'll be a presentation of that. But we have another award to one of Mr. L's students, and we're very proud of her.
Madam Superintendent, how will this student be featured in either our social media platform or otherwise?
On the website also,
Okay.
and social media, we'll have a press release that goes out. I think there's one that's prepared already that we will be sending out.
Thank you.
Yep. That's all I have tonight.
Thank you. We move on to Assistant Superintendent for Business, Mr. Napoli.
Thank you very much. So in my report, there's the first rendering that we've seen, might be the second, of the proposed concession building. I think our architect has done a really nice job with some input from the team. So please provide me any feedback that you might have. There's also a picture of one that's upstate. I think it's along the St. Lawrence Seaway or one of the Great Lakes. It's kind of where we got the idea from. And then in my report is a full accounting of what we've just been discussing regarding the capital project that was just recently approved in the fall of last year. I was asked to reach out to the architects and engineers about providing a canopy that would protect anyone with the press on the top of the press box, and the short answer is yes, we can certainly add the canopy. It'll add roughly $30,000 to the project. They're recommending that we do it as an alternate just to see what the cost would be, and then any of the fabric that we would have, we would purchase it ourselves. It's not part of the product that's offered by the company that makes the press boxes, so we would have to add it later, but they would account for any type of increase of wind shear or anything like that, because once you start adding sides to something that's going to be exposed to the weather, they have to prepare the structure itself to be able to handle any wind or anything like that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
John.
Vince, can we look at something that just basically covers maybe a foot or foot and a half down off of that top? Because as I said, you've got the press box that's closed, and then you have the top that's open right now. If we cover it, any wind or anything coming side to side is going to soak everybody. We've all seen the rain go sideways. So maybe we could do something to just extend that by coming down on each side a little bit. You don't have to close everything off, but something that could do something like that just to keep the people up there dry.
Sure, I can certainly ask them to look at that, but I suspect that anything that we add to the three sides is going to, if a heavy wind comes up, it's going to want to push that over, whether it's 2 feet or whether it's the full 8 feet. It's like having a sail that's 30 feet in the air. But I can ask them that question, and maybe there won't be that much more added to it, but I'll ask.
Maybe even if we did something with louvers or something that came out that would allow the air to go through. I don't mean to take your thunder, Willie. on the building.
Yeah, those are great ideas, and I'll certainly ask them.
Yeah, you
And
don't-
and the picture that you gave us, that's of the pool house and bathrooms that go for both the pool and football.
Are you looking at the rendering or the actual?
The actual photo.
The actual photo. That's a sample of one that we found up along the St. Lawrence, like I said, or one of the Great Lakes. I don't remember, but it would look very similar to that. And that would be at the end of the pool, between the pool and the football field, and that's where our fans would go for concession, to use the bathrooms, as well as our PE classes could use the bathrooms during the day, and then camp would use that during the summer for their bathrooms, and then access to the pool. The access to the pool would be in that little breezeway in the middle. And I detailed some of that in my report of what the DOH requires you to have when you access a pool. You have to be checked in first, you have to have access to a bathroom next, and then you have to shower before you
Right.
get into the pool.
And the little archway there could have some sort of Blue Devil logo or Ellenville or something like that.
I
A
can
neat
certainly
little
make that
A-frame.
recommendation. Absolutely, that's a great idea.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just a couple questions, Mr. President. So Vince, in the report, you referred to the meeting that you had with the Ulster County DOH. What was the pretense of that meeting?
That was to give them a heads up on what we were doing. So when we renovated our junior, senior kitchen, as well as when we built our elementary school cafeteria, the Department of Health always wants to know what we're doing before we do it, so that we don't do something wrong, and then once we get into it, they come in and do their inspection, then we have to change things after we've built it. So I've always kept the DOH involved from the beginning, just so that we don't make any mistakes.
And I applaud you for that. My one concern is, well, and maybe it's not a concern, was there anyone from the Palumbo Group or Tetra Tech at that meeting with you?
They were not, because they're not responsible for the pool renovations. They are responsible for the concession building. So the initial meeting was to talk about the pool. So I was there with the camp and the town, and then I showed them that.
Gotcha.
Right. Okay.
Understood, okay. And has there been any movement on the outdoor learning space that we discussed for the elementary library?
I have not talked. That has not come up in any of the meetings yet. But I know it's a topic. We just haven't. That has not come up yet.
Okay. Can we elevate that?
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President, I just have one question. I don't know if this goes under Vince, or it's at the bottom of the board information, the enrollment report workbook. Could we get a printout of something like that? It's tiny, and I expanded it to 150%. I still can't read the whole sheet. If we have something that's that small, we could just,
Yes.
not to make paper crazy, but
We can
so
do
that we
that.
could see it. Thank you.
Move on to Deputy Superintendent Kelly White.
I have nothing to report this evening.
And move on to Scott Prokosh.
Good evening. Just wanted to comment on our elementary students. As you all know, state testing had a little bit of an issue with computer-based testing throughout the state. Went to support the elementary school on the second day when they were trying to test, and there was a lot of students that could not get on. And just going into the classrooms to work with the students and see how eager they were to take their state assessment, how concentrated they were, how concerned they were that they potentially might not be able to take the assessment. Thankfully, the testing ended up working very well, and we were able to get the majority of the students on that day. But just super proud of how eager the students were to take the state assessment and how serious they took it. So commend the students and also the teachers for working with the students throughout the year to prepare them to take the state assessment.
Thank you, Mr. Prokosh. Move on to personnel resolutions for this evening. Under 6.1, election inspectors. Upon the recommendation, superintendent of schools be resolved, the 2025 budget vote, election inspectors be appointed as needed. List has been moved and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. 6.2, substitute personnel. Upon the recommendation, superintendent of schools be resolved, following substitute personnel be appointed for the 24-25 school year. Such appointments are contingent upon the district's receipt of fingerprint clearance from the New York State
Move the
Education
list.
Department. The list has been moved and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. 6.3, Memorandum of Agreement, ETA. Upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, be resolved. Memorandum of Agreement between the Ellenville Central School District and the ETS RPA Teachers Unit be approved as attached.
So-
2425.
So moved.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion.
Yes, Mr. President, I would just like to again say, this is a job well done by all parties involved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. Budget resolutions for this evening.
Motion to move 7172 and 73, BOCES
Second.
budget, 25-26 budget, and the property tax
Been
report.
moved and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. Under education resolutions for this evening. Resolve the 3-year term for Ulster BOCES seat number 1 be filled by nominee Barbara Carroll of New Paltz.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. 8.2, resolve the 3-year term, Ulster BOCES, seat number 2, Roundout Valley, be filled by nominee Lucy Van Sickle of Kingston. Been moved and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. 8.3, resolve the Board of Education votes for the following individuals to fill the 2 Ulster BOCES at-large seats. 1, Willie Bruce Jr. of Ellenville, our very own, and 2, Dave Thompson of New Paltz. And we have a second? Second. Discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Good luck, Willie.
Thank you, Mr. President. I abstained. I'd just like the record to reflect that. Thank you.
Student IEPs, be it resolved, attached list of students. It's been moved. Seconded. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one? Motion carries. Where's the tabled resolution? Did I get put it back on? Is this it?
Just skip over that. Just do 9, construction. Skip over to 10, please.
Okay. 9.1, construction. Resolve the invoice MC-09 final payment for HVAC contractor in the amount of $44,000.
So
Been moved.
Second.
Seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one? Motion carries. Nothing on table resolutions. I'll go to 11.1, field trip. Resolved, 4th grade be approved to travel out of state to Sterling Hill. It's been moved. Seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. Field trip approval. Resolve the students in My Brother's Keeper program be approved to travel overnight. It's been
Second.
moved and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. I guess this will be 11.3. Be it resolved, the Board of Education, Ellenville Central School District hereby affirms the superintendent's decision and suspension of student number 4. No, it just has the date there, right? Student.
So moved.
It's been moved.
Second.
Seconded. Discussion. Oh, look, go ahead, John.
Yeah, I'd like to ask to have a motion to put in that student's number in there correctly. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. Next meeting, May 13th, 2025. We will be calling for a special meeting on Tuesday. So mark your calendars at 5 o'clock for Tuesday's special meeting. That will be here at 5 o'clock. Anybody want to see anything on the agenda for the next meeting? John?
Brought up the last meeting or meeting before about looking into moving our board meetings back down to the elementary auditorium in light of the fact that we had 100 and some people here to present students with awards last time and performance by the bands, and it's just uncomfortable, and I think it's unfair to the people that we bring to the board to honor them when we can't all look at each other. And the report came back that we couldn't do it live because we were short personnel. So I'd like to ask that we prepare a motion on the board to appoint someone so that we could have the necessary work. We only meet once or twice a month, and move it back to the auditorium where we could be comfortable and the people that come to the board meetings could be comfortable. And if we have to get into a dialogue or we have to do a presentation to students, that we can do that the way it should be done.
Anybody else want to be heard on that?
Can we move on that or get to that next meeting?
Yeah, I just want to see what the majority of the board wants to do. Jody?
Can we maybe have it scheduled that we're there for events that would require us to be in a larger venue?
Lisa?
That way we're not having the burden of extra costs.
Vince? Somebody want to give me a response?
I mean, we could look at it, when we have like the band or big presentations to schedule it in the elementary auditorium or even our big auditorium here. We can look at it and record it and not go live with it. I think the problem with live here, and Tim is here, everything's based out of here live. But on those occasions, if you wanted to do it that way, we can record it and then put it on immediately after.
Lisa, that might make it confusing for people that want to come to meetings. I mean, we pay more in chaperones than we would wind up paying an extra person to come and help do this.
I don't know if it's just one extra person. I think it's a whole hookup.
That's what the report said. We needed 2 people, and we only had 1.
That is correct. It would require Mr. L. as well as Mr. Buckler, somebody to be here and somebody be at the remote location queuing up the equipment so that it's all in sync. Before we kick off public session, Tim's got to go over here or over up there or where the studio used to be or where it will be, and he's got to queue up all the equipment.
Not to be facetious, Vince, but it's not like we're talking half a mile down the road. It's 200 yards in the building to move equipment and get this done. And if we could find someone other than those 2 as a third person that could fill in if they can't do it, I think for the cost, it's well worth it to be more comfortable. I remember when we were sitting over there, and it wasn't comfortable at all when people came to be recognized.
I do think that we do some broadcasting from the high school auditorium that might be, let us look at it for the next meeting.
Thank you.
Maybe the high school auditorium wouldn't have to move the equipment out necessarily in the inclement weather if it's raining or something. Let us talk about it again.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else for the next meeting? If not, mark your calendars. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Moved and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one? We're adjourned.